Give me the 5-year out perspective of what Animoca might look like. Will you have offices in the U.S.? Could there be an IPO either in the U.S. or other markets? Could you buy one of these huge gaming companies or merge with them? What could it be?
Yeah. So first of all, to clarify, Animoca is much more than a gaming company. I mean, 573 portfolio companies, billions of dollars of assets under management. Some people have actually described this as are we the MicroStrategy of alts? I don't quite like that term.
But you guys have a lot of investments in non-gaming companies.
Correct.
We bump into you all the time in our own investing, and I'm like, Animoca's in that? Animoca's in that?
Yes.
And it's interesting, that you are. So I agree. There's a lot going on. Plus you got your own market making. You guys do a lot of things.
And the way that I think of Animoca is that we started in gaming and we're still very big in this. However, we've evolved because of the way that markets evolve when you want to push things of a new area. And that means that, when we're pushing digital property rights, we realize that digital property rights is much more than gaming. Gaming is maybe a big way to push into it, but actually we can be so much more than that. That's just why we have the stable coin. That's why we're doing sort of, DeFi and DePIN and AI and all these areas and expanding in this area. And we actually think what we're building at Animoca is a company that is a Web3 native business that essentially is a model to emulate for other companies who want to do business in Web3. And what I mean by that is that the big thing that's changing in Web3 is that, in my mind, we will no longer have fintech companies in the future. Meaning that every business is a fintech company in the way that every business has to be an AI company, and in a way how every business has to be an internet company. There's no such thing.
What's the last one?
Internet.
Internet company.
Internet.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
You remember
which is true now.
Yes.
But back in the day, it was .com.
You're in .com. You're an internet company. Yeah. You're not, right? You're on the internet. You're not. Right?
Yeah. Although is Walmart on the internet? That's a question.
Well, but Walmart does sales on the internet. They have to have, it's no longer a division. It's very much encapsulated between it, whether it's social media marketing or that kind of stuff, right? So that means and they have to leverage it, right? It has to be a part of what they do. And so today we have these categories called fintech. And what Web3 does is it essentially embeds fintech into everything that you do. Meaning that the small business owner, the restaurant, the small gaming company, they all have to essentially use fintech within their business to create revenue streams out of what they're doing and beyond. And that's what we're doing at Animoca. And we think we're pioneering that model. So I'll give you an example. Why is market making so relevant for us?
Investment Club. Today, I consider it the best investment that I've ever made. We get 4 projects presented a week by their associated CEOs. Personally, I'm completely blown away by the quality of these projects, and I know of nowhere else where I would be given this same opportunity. Each week that passes, I feel more appreciative of the fact that I'm a member of this group. The vibe was just tremendous. Everybody's on the same wavelength. We just clicked. Everybody listened to each other, enjoyed their company. It was just magical, magical. Take action. Don't take my word for it. Due diligence you need to do. And I really hope that someday down the road I see you in the club. It far exceeded expectations, without question.
Because it's a revenue generation model for gaming tokens as start, but also other tokens. The traditional model for the Web3 gaming companies before was really a Web2 business model. Sell skins like NFTs, sell virtual currency like tokens. Yes, you have a market that trades them, and yes, you have basically people who can own them. But beyond that, it's essentially a Web2 business model. And it's not that different from an exchange, where an exchange essentially is really a Web2 business model, as in the centralized exchange, dealing in Web3 assets. That's what most of the early forms of Web3 games were. But you can evolve them because of DeFi. And so what we realized is that, hold on. With market making, we can now make fees as a spread. Sure, there's capital risk because you got to put USDC or USDD at risk together with the other token. But as a market maker, we can make a spread, which is much better than us selling tokens into the market, essentially into the user. And so what it means that the game now has to focus on creating volume and attention, which is much more aligned with the token holder, which is a different game to play than the one who's only focused on, is the game fun and exciting? You need both, because the excitement of the fun of the game also drives volume, which in turn basically creates activity, or the ones who own your tokens as investors. It opens up a whole new business model. And if you have a gaming company of size, you'll want to have that as a business model. And we're experimenting with this. This is a business model we didn't have 2 years ago, right? And we're evolving. It's a little bit like, when Amazon first came out, selling books. I mean, they still sell books, but that's not why Amazon is Amazon, right? And I think for Animoca, it's exactly the same. We came out in the market with, blockchain games, NFTs, and that's still what we do. But it's roughly a third of our business. 2/3 of our business basically is our publishing business, is our sort of trading, market making, and of course our investment portfolio management side of the business. And so that's why I understand why people look at us and say, well, if I invest in Animoca, am I essentially indexing myself against most of the big Web3 activities that are out there without having to invest in sort of 100 different projects? And I think from a public markets play, that makes sense. So while we haven't fully baked that, I think I understand the reasoning behind it, because we have an increasing asset portfolio position that comes from the way we manage assets in that particular space beyond Bitcoin. Of course, we have Bitcoin on our balance sheet too. But if you're a Bitcoin holding play, then MicroStrategy or an ETF. But if you're thinking about sort of what are the 5 to 10 stocks I need to buy to be indexed in sort of this next growth wave, the way that we're setting it up is that we think Animoca has to be one of them, right? You need to have, of course, your stable coin. You need to have your exchange. You probably want to have your Bitcoin, maybe a couple of ETFs. And then how do you play the rest of the market? Because this is not going to be a case where it's going to be winner takes all, where there's only going to be 1 or 2 big companies. There's going to be a whole range of that. And we think Animoca could be that company. So that's how we're setting ourselves up for that.
Hey, I know investing in crypto is scary. It takes a real leap of faith because there are so many scams, rug pulls, and bad actors out there. It's a dangerous business, which is why 95% of people lose all their money. Well, that's why I created the London Real Investment Club, so you can access the hottest deals on the planet and use the crypto bull market to create the generational wealth that you deserve. Join my team of over 100 people from around the world that are making millions of dollars behind the scenes investing in blockchain, AI, Web3 games, DeFi, Bitcoin, and more. Don't miss out. Click the link below to book a call with one of my team now. But hurry, this bull market will end soon.
I know investing in crypto can be scary. That's why you gotta join the investment club. Pull the trigger. Let's do this.